How many people?
Don't know.
Lauren, have you heard anything more about school? You're mute.
I have not. Hang on, Kevin's calling. Hello? Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Is that,
Where is that agenda? Where is somebody having a picture about?
not yet? Oh, evidently.
He thought the meeting was 6:30. He's logging on right now.
Oh, okay.
But no, I haven't heard any more about school. July 9th is supposed to be the big reveal.
Oh, okay. I
We'll
wondered
see.
when it was coming out. Yeah.
The school board meeting votes on their plan July 8th, but I think their plan was fluid pending numbers after the 4th of July holiday weekend. So
Yeah.
wait and see.
Okay. Okay. So we're waiting for Kevin and Melissa. Here comes Kevin.
Is everybody on?
Kevin and Melissa.
Here we go. You got me. I'm on now.
Okay, good. And what about Melissa? She don't see her yet.
I just text her.
Okay.
Well, they're waiting for somebody.
So,
I see Tony and I see Lonnie and I see John Collier. And I see, I think, Mr. Cleary up there.
Yeah. I think I need trifocals because it's hard to see. I have to keep going like this and moving back.
Yeah, Chief Flannelly there. I know when I do it on my phone, I only see so many people. I don't see everybody.
The big loss. Not being able to see everybody.
I see you, Lonnie, and that's the main thing.
That's the main
Yeah.
thing. Always has been.
Okay. So Cindy, did Melissa say she's getting on?
I haven't heard back from her. She emailed me this afternoon, and you know, we chatted about doing those statement of benefits with that resolution. So
Yeah. So we're just, you think we should begin
yes.
or wait till she gets on or she'll just get on during the middle of the meeting? Does
yeah,
she
maybe.
need to be on the roll call at the beginning though?
I say start.
Yeah, she might have had an emergency or something. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Nancy, go ahead and start, and if she comes on during the meeting, we'll announce and put her on present, yeah.
I'll make a note of it.
Okay. I call to order the July meeting of the Lafayette Common Council. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to our nation's flag? Allegiance.
To the
I
flag
pledge allegiance to the flag of the
of
United
the United
States
States of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please conduct roll call.
Heidi,
Here.
Clicker,
Here.
Reynolds,
Here.
Campbell,
Here.
Brown,
here,
Allersmeyer,
Here.
Williamson, Downey, Marshall,
Here.
quorum present.
Okay. You've received the minutes of the June meeting. Are there any questions or corrections?
President, I move those minutes be approved as communicated.
Okay, and Mr. Brown?
Second.
Roll
second,
call, please.
Heidi? Mr. Heidi?
What's it?
Oh, okay. Clinker,
Aye.
Reynolds,
Aye.
Campbell?
Aye.
Brown,
aye,
Allersmeyer,
Aye.
Downing.
Aye.
Minutes approved. Thank you.
Okay, presentation and disposal of claims.
There are none.
Presentation of petitions and communication.
There are none.
Reports of city offices, reports of city offices on file in the city clerk's office.
Fleet maintenance monthly May, police department monthly May, renew department monthly May, and waterworks department monthly May.
Okay, these reports are on file at the clerk's office and can be viewed from 8 o'clock in the morning till noon and 2 to 4:30 each weekday. Okay, ordinance for second reading, ordinance 2020-15.
An ordinance authorizing the city of Lafayette, Indiana to issue its taxable economic subordinate revenue bonds, Ellsworth project, and authorizing and approving other actions in connection therewith.
Madam President, I move that ordinance be approved as read.
Okay, and Mr. Downing?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, or is anybody speaking to this or have any questions about this since it's the second time around?
Yeah, Madam President, myself, Dennis Carson, and Shelby Bowen are on the line. This is through Area Plan Commission, Redevelopment Commission, back to Redevelopment Commission to City Council, now twice. So it's been presented, I think, 5, 6, 7 times. So if we'd answer questions if you'd have them.
Okay, are there any questions from any of the council members to any of those people involved? Questions? Okay, and we had no email public comment about this, so a roll call vote, please.
Heidi,
Aye.
Blinker,
Aye.
Reynolds,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Brown,
aye,
Allersmeyer,
Aye.
Williamson,
Aye.
Downing.
Aye.
Ordinance passes 8-0.
Okay, ordinances for first reading, ordinance 2020-21.
An amendment to ordinance number 2020-11 establishing a local Vickery Norris Dixon at 1675 Main Street, Historic District in the city of Lafayette, Indiana.
Okay, Mr. Reynolds?
Madam President, I move to hear and approve 2020-21.
Okay, and Mrs. Williamson?
Second.
Okay, Ms. John Colley, you're going to speak to this?
Yes, I will. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to all of you tonight. You have before you 2 ordinances actually to amend the original Historic Preservation Commission ordinance to establish 2 new local historic districts. If approved, this will bring the total number of local historic districts in the city of Lafayette to 26. The property owners of both of these properties have voluntarily petitioned the Historic Preservation Commission to establish their properties as these local districts. So they're doing this very willingly. And the Historic Preservation Commission did recommend approval for these to be considered as local historic districts at their June 29th meeting. And they would appreciate your vote of support for both of these ordinances. So the first, as you mentioned, is 2020-21 and is to establish a local vickery, which is the historic property name, by the way, Norris Dixon, which is the current property owner's name, and the address is 1675 Main Street, local historic district. You have the legal description, the boundary map, and a handful of photographs of that property included in your packets. And I would ask for your support of the ordinance. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to try to answer those.
I have one question. This is
Sure.
the first time I've seen the term vicary. You give us a brief history of that place?
That is the original property owner when the house was built, was the last name Vickery. And so that's why we use that as the first name. Since it's not in a national historic district, that's kind of the protocol for naming. Is if you can find the original property owner name, that's what you try to use.
Thank you.
I will tell you a point of interest about this property, that it was also owned at one time by the Steffen family, and Mr. Steffen was very instrumental in making corduroy popular, and in fact was the one who started the Purdue cords tradition at Purdue.
Oh, really?
And his daughter, ultimately, or his wife, was the daughter of, his daughter married a man named Jacob Link, who ultimately became the president of the city council, Nancy, just for your information.
Wow.
I think back in the 30s or 40s.
Mhm.
So just a point of interest.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns about the
I was
council
just,
members?
I was just going to ask Tony if he was on the council then.
Right.
Thanks.
Okay. And we did not have any emails about this for public comment. Any other questions and concerns from council members? Okay, will we have a roll call vote, please?
Heidi,
Aye.
Blinker,
Aye.
Reynolds,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Allersmeyer,
Aye.
Williamson,
Aye.
Downey.
Aye.
Ordinance passes 8-0.
Okay, ordinance 2020-22.
An amendment to ordinance 2020-11 establishing a local parent Pizzagalli Silva, 324 Tinkler Street, Historic District in the city of Lafayette, Indiana.
Okay, Mr. Clinker,
I move we hear ordinance 2020-22 on first reading.
and Mr. Heidi,
Second.
and okay, you have anything else to say about this property, John?
Only that this is to establish the local parent, Pizzagalli Silva, 324 Tinkler. Again, parent is because it's in the Perrin National District.
Right.
Pizzagalli Silva are the married name, the current owners. And again, you have all the information, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I don't have any historic stories about this property, though.
Okay. Any question from council members concerning this ordinance? Okay, and once again, we had no public comment from email on this ordinance, so will the clerk conduct a roll call vote on ordinance 2020-22?
Heidi,
Aye.
Blinker,
Aye.
Reynolds,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Allersmeyer,
Aye.
Williamson,
Aye.
Downey.
Aye.
Ordinance passes 8-0.
Thank you.
Okay, great. And now we're on to resolutions. Resolutions 2020-13.
A resolution dissolving the Railroad Relocation Fund, Fund 2700.
Mrs. Alsmeyer,
Madam President, I move we hear and approve resolution 2020-13.
Mr. Brown,
Second.
Mr. Clary, are you speaking to this?
Yes, I can. Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the council. Before you is Resolution 2020-13, dissolving the Railroad Relocation Fund. The city and legal counsel has reviewed the history of the fund, and we have determined that the remaining balance is of local funds, and therefore at this time we see an opportunity to transfer those funds to the city general fund and use those as law allows under the Indiana Code for General Fund. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Clary from any of the council members?
How much money was in that fund, you know? Is it a great deal?
Mr. Heidi, the balance that will be transferred is $221,618.99. So a sizable amount of local funds that were still held in that fund.
Thank you.
I have a question. Will we have to vote to appropriate those funds?
Since it is being transferred via resolution, in order to spend these funds in 2020, we will have to do an additional appropriation. We expect that it will be part of the 2021 budget that you'll be approving this fall.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
I have a
Any other-
question. I do have a question for the mayor. Is there since the only really part of railroad relocation I can think of that is open kind of is that walkway. Is there any latest or any funds committed to that to helping that finish, or is that all got to be in the Wabash enhancement, or where is that, Tony?
Yes, Councilman Clinker, that is being funded solely through the Wabash River Enhancement Corporation. The city will not own the promenade. When it's done, that will be the property of the Wabash River Enhancement Corporation. As you're probably aware, that they got a $2.3 million grant from North Central Health Services to build that promenade. And part of the stipulation is that it's not government owned, as NCHS does not make grants to government entities. We do plan to try to help them with some technical advice once it's finished on the maintenance and things like that. But no, the city does not own that, and there are no direct city funds in that project.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other comments or concerns about this resolution? And there was no public email about that as far as public comment. So will the clerk conduct a roll call vote on resolution 2020-13?
Heidi,
Aye.
Blinker,
Aye.
Reynolds,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Allersmeyer,
Aye.
Williamson,
Aye.
Downing.
Aye.
Resolution passes 8-0.
Okay,
you.
now, okay, you're welcome. Resolution 2020-14.
A resolution declaring the designation of certain real estate as an economic revitalization area and approving the application for property tax abatement, Subaru of Indiana Automotive Incorporated, personal property.
Mr. Campbell,
I move for passage of resolution 20-20 on first and final reading.
and Mr. Downing?
Second.
Okay. Let's see, who,
Madam President.
okay, go ahead, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Madam President, ladies and gentlemen of the council, I'm excited to be here with you this evening to approve this resolution for Subaru of Indiana Automotive. As you know, they have been a tremendous community partner with us now for decades, and over the last several years has done hundreds of millions of dollars of upgrades at the plant. They are our largest employer and our largest taxpayer, but they're also a tremendous corporate citizen and a tremendous group to work with in the community, the way they give back through the Subaru Foundation and the other programs that they do. We could not ask for a better corporate citizen from the environmental side and all the environmental work that they do, a zero landfill auto plant, all the events that they host. The list just goes on and on and on. This resolution is part of the process for approving the $156 million approximately expansion that they're going to be doing at the Subaru plant, and the hiring of an additional 350 people here in our community and surrounding communities. So I would very much appreciate your support on this resolution. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Rachel Hazare from Subaru, who will tell you a little bit more about the actual project itself. And her and I would be happy to answer any questions when she's finished. Rachel?
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Madam President, and to the council for the opportunity to share information about our latest phase of growth for Subaru here in Lafayette. So this abatement relates to, again, our growth projects with two particular projects of significance. The first is assembly of transmissions. So it's a really exciting project for Subaru. This will be the first time that transmissions are sold anywhere outside of Japan. We've been working to bring to SIA. I've been working for many, many years to SIA, and the support of the Lafayette Commerce and your economic development team really helped put together a great package, which made it very enticing for us to the assembly of transmissions to SIA. The project will, at the outset, we expect that we will approximately half of all the transmissions for all Subaru brand vehicles assembled at SIA. And for context, as a reminder, SIA now is large enough that we are producing approximately half of all Subaru brand vehicles sold in North America. So this is a really significant project for us, and we're very excited. Mr. Mayor, thank you for mentioning our investment. So we anticipate that we're going to invest about $158 million, a capital investment, and we'll create 350 new jobs. We expect that we're going to have a groundbreaking at the end of this month, with the final project to be complete by 2023. The second significant portion of the project relates to service parts. So SIA has, for our entire history, produced service parts associated with the vehicles that we manufacture at SIA. And this is a continuation of our ability to meet our growing demand. So as we sell more vehicles, we're selling more service parts. So this project will provide us with an opportunity to coat the service parts that we produce at our facility. So we had previously outsourced that, and we will now be bringing those jobs to the local community. So we're very excited for this opportunity. That project, again, will be beginning very soon, and we expect that it will start operations as soon as 2021. The COVID situation has affected our timelines, but we expect as soon as we can get that project completed, we will be starting hopefully next year. And with that, I would pause and be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay. Are there any questions from the council? Any questions or comments? Okay, we did not get any public comment through email on this resolution. So if there's no other questions or comments, we have a roll call vote on resolution 2020-14.
Heidi,
Aye.
Blinker,
Aye.
Reynolds,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Allersmeyer,
Aye.
Williamson,
Aye.
Downey.
Aye.
Resolution passes 8-0.
Okay, thank you very much. Next resolution 2020-15.
Nancy, we need a public hearing.
Public hearing.
Oh, I thought the public hearing was on the next one. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so we need to set a public hearing on resolution 2020-14. Mr. Reynolds?
I move that.
It's going to be for what date? I had it written. August 3rd at 6:01. Mr. Reynolds?
I move. Can you hear me? I'm breaking up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting broken up too. Yeah.
I move public hearing for 2020-14 on whatever date you said.
Yeah. Okay. August 3rd at
August
6:01.
6:01.
Okay, and Mrs. Williamson?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Heidi,
Aye.
Blinker,
Aye.
Reynolds,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Allersmeyer,
Aye.
Williamson,
Aye.
Downing.
Aye.
Public hearing set, approved.
Okay, now we're off to resolution 2020-15.
A resolution of the Lafayette Common Council annual tax abatement compliance.
Okay, Mr. Clinker?
I move we hear resolution 2020-15 on first reading.
And Mr. Heidi?
Second.
Okay, Ms. Dennis, are you speaking to this one?
Yes. Good evening. Dennis Carson, Economic Development Director for the City of Lafayette. This resolution represents 54 separate tax abatement compliances from Lafayette. And these have been thoroughly vetted through our staff and through our redevelopment commission. And the commission recommended that they all be found in substantial compliance. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Okay, questions from council? Any questions? No, there were no emails about public comment for that. So we have a roll call vote on resolution 2020-15.
Heidi,
Aye.
Blinker,
Aye.
Reynolds,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Allersmeyer,
Aye.
Williamson,
Aye.
Downing.
Aye.
Resolution passes 8-0.
Okay, any reports of standing committees? Okay, any reports of special committees? Any report from the mayor?
Madam President, I'm going to yield my time to Chief Flannelly. He's going to make just a few brief comments just for a couple minutes, just to update the council on a few things and some information that we've put out. So I'm going to yield my time to the chief.
Great, okay, thank you. Chief Flannelly.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, County Council, City Council. I wanted to take just a few minutes because I know there's been a lot of questions that have surfaced in the last month about the policing profession, and in particular, questions about use of force and other police policies that maybe have been brought into the spotlight through a couple of national incidents. On our city police department webpage, right on the front page, you can go and you can see our community-centered policing commitment document. And with the mayor and our community outreach on the city side and on the police department side, we went ahead and put together this document to help educate the public on some of the questions that they might have. It's 4 pages long, so I won't read through the entire document, but it's very informative. I think the biggest takeaway from it is that most of the things that people are concerned about in the public today are things that we've been doing here for the last 20 years, literally decades on some of these things. We don't call our policy anymore use of force. We call it response to resistance. That was a change that was made a few years ago. That was, again, after we reviewed all of our policies, which we do frequently, we decided that it was more appropriate in that our force is determined by the level of resistance that we would encounter from anyone. And we do use a force continuum and that type of model that addresses how and when force can be used. And I know that's been a big discussion in the national spotlight. So you can get a little bit more information there. And again, there's several more things in there. I think, again, for brevity's sake, I would encourage you to read that document. Each year, too, we put out our annual police reports. The 2019 report has been delayed a little bit because of some of the issues that we had with COVID, but that should be coming up on the police department website and the city website here in the next few weeks, so you'll be able to see that data. But with that, I'm happy to answer any questions anyone might have. And we just certainly at the police department, we really appreciate all the support that we've been given by the city council and the mayor and by our community, quite frankly. I know it's been interesting times for sure, but I know our officers are working hard every day just to keep our community safe, and they'll continue to do so.
Thank you, Patrick. I have a couple questions. When I looked at the police budget, because I think we've all received lots of emails about defunding the police. And when we looked at salaries, does that include all the people that aren't officers, also all the clerical people and dispatchers and things like that?
Yes, and roughly 90% of our budget is personnel cost.
Right, I looked at that. Yeah. How many officers do we have right now? You know,
we have 148 sworn positions, but because of for the last 5 years, we see more turnover in this profession than we've ever seen before, and it's our number of applicants has dwindled, even though our efforts to bring in more applicants has increased probably fivefold. We've done more than we ever have to try to bring in quality applicants. We do feel like we're still getting quality applicants, but it really is, those numbers are a lot smaller, where we used to get 100 applications for every one opening. This last testing that we did, we only got about 5, which is down from about 10 that we were averaging for the last couple of years. So it's definitely, there's some troubling things that we're going to have to contend with in the future.
right. So we have 148 right now, but that's not, we're still in the process of hiring people.
Well, we have those positions, but we haven't had those. We haven't. The closest we've come is 146, and that was only for one day.
Oh, so we don't even have.
We currently have 8 openings, and we know that we have 4 more departures coming in the next 3 months. So we're gonna have 12 openings by the end of the summer.
Okay, thank you.
Chief, also, part of that budget is the retirement also, is it not?
All associated costs, yes, for our employees.
Yes.
Right. Oh, I have one other question. The school resource officers, do we pay for those? Does the school pay for them? Do we share that salary, paying that salary, or do we pay for all of it?
We have one full-time school resource officer that is paid out of our budget. We have many part-time school resource officers where the school does contribute to the cost of training for the resource officers. And we also have one DARE officer in there. So we are in the high school and both middle schools, and then we try to touch as many of the elementary schools as we can.
Okay, thank you.
Nancy, if I could clarify just a moment too. So Pat, we have the school resource officer, the DARE, he said, but a lot of the other officers that you see working at the school, Sunnyside, Tecumseh, Jeff, the school corporation are paying them. They're off duty. That's part-time work for them. They pay them kind of the arrangement. Then the city of Lafayette pays for all of the school crossing guards. So the school does not pay for school crossing guards. The city pays, and if I remember right, it's a couple $100,000 a year, if I remember correctly, on what we pay when you add up all the school crossing guards. So they're paying. That's kind of an arrangement that's been in place for a long time.
Okay. And I've talked to several teachers, and I haven't had one negative comment about the school resource officers, and they say we absolutely want them there and we appreciate everything they do.
Yeah, very important.
Yes,
yeah, that program's been very beneficial because it does save a lot of time. It's a very efficient deployment of resources because we're going to be in the schools either way. So it's better to have the officers there.
Right.
That can develop those relationships and streamline our workflow. But
absolutely.
Just to go back to your last question too, just a point of clarification. There is for the retirees, there is funds that come out of the pension fund that's separate from the police general fund. But we don't want to give up our school resource officers.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay, any other questions for Patrick?
Well, I'd just like to thank the chief and mayor for their transparency. I know when I was first elected in 2004, we were committed to transparency and being good listeners. I think you guys have been great examples of that, especially over the last few months.
Thank you.
Okay, miscellaneous and new business. Any reports of councilmen? Okay, public comment. I think we have 2 emails. Cindy?
Yes, we do. This first one is from an Audrey Hollis. And she says, to whom it may concern, I'd like to submit a public comment for this Lafayette City Council meeting. My address is 1201 Holloway Drive, apartment number 3. The public comment is as follows. Lafayette, Indiana spends 31% of the city budget on its police department. As a resident of Lafayette and attendee of Black Lives Matter protests, I believe the excessive military arms the police carry are unnecessary and encourage both police violence and make community policing impossible, as it is extremely difficult to feel comfortable around somebody who is armed to the teeth. Lafayette, Indiana had 2 deaths caused by the police last year. I believe those deaths were preventable. Lafayette must, in the upcoming 2021 budget, devote less money towards the police and more money to schools, public art, community programs, and social services. The second one was from a Katie O'Dougally, and she lives at 220 South 6th Street in Lafayette. It says, I'm a Lafayette citizen who wishes to make a public comment before the city council meeting. I'm concerned about how 45% of the city budget is being allocated to the police department. I would much prefer that money go towards public education.
Okay. We'll call on this.
Oh, sure, why not?
Right.
Okay, Heidi,
Aye.
Blinker,
Aye.
Reynolds,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Allersmeyer. Aye. Williamson,
Aye.
Downey.
Aye. Nancy, you
This
did a nice job.
conference is no
running the-
longer being recorded.